Alex, I have a question for you, and I want a completely honest answer.
That opening already makes me nervous.
How many people know about the new project you mentioned to me last week?
Almost nobody.
Almost?
You know, my sister, one close friend, you.
That is a major improvement.
Improvement? Excuse me, I am growing.
You are, because 2 years ago, you could have an idea at breakfast and by lunch, 6 people knew about it.
That is not fair.
Is it inaccurate?
No, but it is still not fair.
Haha, okay. Here is the interesting part. You have told fewer people about this new project, but you have already done more work on it than you usually do in the first week.
I noticed that too.
So maybe silence is doing something useful.
Or maybe I finally learned not to turn every new idea into a press conference.
That might be the whole episode.
We are done already?
Not even close.
Good, because I have questions. I understand keeping some things private, but I do not like advice that sounds like, never tell anyone anything.
Neither do I. Silence can protect a plan, but silence can also become fear. So today I want to talk about the difference.
The useful kind of silence.
Exactly. The kind that gives an idea time to become real before everyone has an opinion about it.
I am Alex.
And I am Sarah. Welcome to the Easy English Podcast from English Life Channel, where we explore real-life ideas through clear, natural English conversations.
And today, Sarah, we are exploring something that can be surprisingly powerful in life. The power of silence, and why sometimes saying less about your plans can actually help you move forward.
It sounds extreme, and we are not going to treat it as a literal rule. But there is a real warning inside it. Do not give an unfinished plan an audience before it has enough action behind it.
So when does silence protect a plan? And when does sharing actually help?
Let us start with something very human. Why do we want to tell people our plans in the first place?
Because it feels good.
Very scientific answer.
I stand by it. You get an idea. Maybe you are going to take a course, start exercising, apply for a new job, learn a skill, move somewhere, save money, start a business, whatever it is. The idea feels exciting, and you want to share that excitement.
Yes. Sometimes we are not even asking for advice. We just want someone to look at us and say, "That sounds amazing."
We want company in the excitement.
And sometimes we want reassurance.
Meaning we want someone to tell us the idea is not ridiculous.
Right, especially when we are not fully confident yet.
That part matters. If I am completely sure about something, I do not feel a strong need to explain it. But if I am unsure, I suddenly become very talkative.
That is so true. We often talk most when we are trying to convince ourselves.
Ouch.
Did that hit too close to home?
A little.
Think about the language we use. We say things like, "I am definitely going to do this," or "This year is going to be different," or "I have a huge plan."
Even when the plan is 3 sentences in a notes app.
Haha, exactly.
And the moment you say it out loud, it starts to feel more official.
There is a phrase I want our listeners to notice. Get ahead of yourself. If you get ahead of yourself, you start thinking or talking as if you are further along than you really are.
Like calling yourself a marathon runner after buying running shoes.
Perfect example.
Or saying, my new company, when the company is still just a logo idea and a folder on your laptop.
Also perfect.
I have done both kinds of things, by the way.
I know.
There is judgment in your voice.
There is history in my voice.
There.
So one danger of sharing too early is that your words can move faster than your actions. You begin describing the future as if it is already happening.
And then you have to live up to the story you told.
Exactly. Sometimes that pressure helps. But sometimes it makes the plan heavier than it needs to be.
I want to challenge something, though. Is the problem really sharing? Or is the problem sharing before you have a foundation?
I think it is the second one. I am not saying that talking is bad. I am saying timing matters.
So silence is not a rule. It is a stage.
I like that. A stage where the idea is allowed to be incomplete.
That feels much healthier.
Because early plans change. You may discover you do not actually want the thing you originally announced. You may change the schedule, the method, even the goal.
And if 10 people already know the first version, now you feel like you owe them an explanation every time it changes.
Yes, you are no longer just building. You are also managing expectations.
That phrase is useful too. Manage expectations. It means helping people understand what they should realistically expect.
And sometimes, the easiest way to manage expectations is not to create them too early.
That is where silence becomes practical.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever shared a plan and then felt trapped by the fact that people knew about it?
I have a very specific answer.
I knew you would.
And unfortunately, it is a good story.
Unfortunately for you, excellent for us.
Fine. About 1.5 years ago, I decided I wanted to earn a professional certification for my work.
I remember this.
Of course you remember. You were one of the few people who watched the whole thing happen.
Go on.
The certification required a serious exam. Not impossible, but difficult enough that I needed a proper study schedule. I should have spent the first week looking at the exam topics, deciding how many hours I could study, and building a routine.
But that is not what you did.
No. What I did was tell people.
How many?
More than I want to admit.
Alex.
Fine. My team at work knew. My manager knew. My brother knew. 2 cousins knew. Some friends knew. I think I even mentioned it to a neighbor in the elevator.
Haha. Why did the neighbor need this information?
I was excited. He asked how work was going, and suddenly I was giving him my 5-month professional development plan.
This is why I said you used to hold press conferences.
I accept the evidence.
What happened next?
At first it was great. People said, "Good for you." My manager said it could help me take on more responsibility. My brother said he was proud of me. I felt very serious and disciplined.
Before studying.
Before studying.
That detail is important.
Painfully important. I had not even opened the first study guide properly, but in my head, I already felt like someone who was preparing for this exam.
So what changed?
The questions started. Every few days, someone would ask, "How is studying going?" My manager would say, "Which section are you on?" My brother would text, "How many practice tests have you done?"
Were they trying to pressure you?
No, that is the interesting part. Most of them were being supportive. But I had created a situation where every normal conversation could suddenly become a progress report.
That sounds exhausting.
It became exhausting. And because I was behind, I started giving long explanations. This week was busy. I am reorganizing the schedule. I am going to study more on the weekend. I am trying a different method.
So you were explaining the plan instead of following the plan.
Exactly. There is another useful phrase, follow through. To follow through means to actually do what you said you would do.
And at that point, you had plenty of talking but not much follow-through.
Correct. The strange thing was that every explanation made me feel worse. I would finish the conversation thinking, why am I defending a study schedule to people who did not ask me to take this exam?
That is a big question.
Eventually, I realized I had turned a private professional goal into a public performance, so I stopped giving updates. Not dramatically. I did not announce, I am now entering a period of silence.
I am very grateful you did not do that.
I just started saying, it is going fine. I will tell you when I have news. Then I went home and actually studied.
What changed emotionally?
I felt lighter. I could have a bad study day without feeling like I had failed in front of an audience. I could change my plan without explaining why. I could discover that one method did not work and try another one.
And did you finish?
I did. I passed the exam.
See, now that is the part you can share.
Yes. And the funny thing is, when I finally told people, the conversation was simple. There was nothing to defend. I had done it.
That story shows something important. Sometimes privacy gives you room to be a beginner.
I wish we talked about that more.
Me too. When you are new at something, you are supposed to be inconsistent for a while. You are supposed to make mistakes. You are supposed to change your mind about the best approach.
But when everybody knows, you can start acting like you need to look confident before you are actually confident.
Exactly. And that can make learning harder.
Especially for adults, we hate looking like beginners.
We do. We want to skip directly to the part where we are good at something.
Which is impossible.
Usually.
Usually,
I am leaving room for the one person listening who is naturally excellent at everything.
I do not trust that person.
Neither do I.
So this is one variation I really like in the idea of silence. It is not only about protecting yourself from negative opinions, it is also about giving yourself permission to be unfinished.
Yes, that is a better way to say it. An unfinished plan needs flexibility.
And flexibility is hard when you have already announced a fixed identity.
I am becoming this. I am definitely doing that. This is my new life now.
Then 2 weeks later you realize, actually, I hate this.
Which is allowed.
Completely allowed.
But it feels harder to admit when you have created an audience.
That is where speak too soon fits. You can say, I do not want to speak too soon. I am still figuring it out.
Exactly. It lets you stay hopeful without pretending the outcome is already settled.
Can we talk about what happens after you share a plan? Because sometimes the problem is not your own excitement. Sometimes the problem is everybody else's imagination.
Yes. The moment you share, people start filling in details.
You say, I am thinking about moving.
And someone hears, I have chosen a city, signed a lease, changed jobs, and packed the car.
Exactly.
You say, I might start a small business.
Someone asks when you are quitting your job.
You say, I have been talking to someone.
Suddenly your aunt wants to know the wedding date.
Haha, that escalated quickly.
But you know what I mean.
I do. People often respond to the finished version of an idea that is still very early in your mind.
And then you start answering questions about decisions you have not even made.
Which can pull you away from your own thinking.
That phrase is important. Weigh your options. If you weigh your options, you carefully consider the different choices before deciding.
And weighing your options requires some quiet.
Exactly. You need space to ask, what do I actually want? Not just, what answer will make everyone stop asking?
I learned that the hard way with a personal decision.
Is this the apartment story?
It is the apartment story.
Oh, this one is good.
Please do not sound so happy about my stress.
I am happy about the educational value.
Sure.
Continue.
A few years ago, I was thinking about moving into my own apartment after sharing a place with a roommate for a long time.
Important detail. You had not decided yet.
Not at all. I was only considering it. I wanted more quiet. I wanted a little more independence. But I also knew living alone would cost more, and I was not sure whether the extra expense was worth it.
Reasonable.
So I mentioned it casually at dinner with a few friends.
Casual sentence, dangerous audience.
Exactly. Within 15 minutes, everyone had a position. One friend thought living alone would be the best thing I had ever done. Another said it was a waste of money. Someone started naming neighborhoods. Someone else told me which buildings to avoid.
And you had not even opened a rental website yet.
Not seriously, but suddenly I was answering questions. What is your budget? Do you want a studio? What about parking? Are you sure you will not get lonely?
That last one would get in my head.
It did. By the end of dinner, I was defending a decision I had not made.
That sentence is the whole problem.
I remember going home and thinking, wait, do I actually want to live alone, or am I now trying to prove that I can?
So other people's opinions changed the question.
Yes. The original question was practical. Would this make my daily life better? After the conversation, the question became emotional. Can I prove that my choice is reasonable?
That is a huge difference.
For the next week, I noticed myself doing something I do not like. Every time someone asked, I gave another explanation.
Over-explaining.
Exactly. Over-explaining means giving more explanation than the situation really needs, often because you feel nervous, defensive, or afraid of being misunderstood.
Very useful phrase.
And very useful life lesson. Sometimes the more uncertain we feel, the more words we use.
What did you do?
I stopped discussing it for a couple of weeks. I made a budget, I looked at a few apartments, I wrote down what I liked about living with someone and what I wanted to change.
So, instead of defending the decision, you investigated the decision.
Yes. And after that quiet period, I decided to move.
And you loved it.
I did. But here is the important thing. If I had decided not to move, that would also have been fine.
Because the point was not proving everyone wrong.
Exactly. The point was making a decision that fit my life.
I like that example because it is not about a big dream. It is just a personal decision.
And that matters. The power of silence is not only for dramatic goals. Sometimes you simply need a little privacy while you think.
You could have simply said, "Things are still up in the air."
Exactly. Nothing was decided yet, and that sentence would have saved me a lot of explaining. This brings us to a harder question. Advice and feedback are not automatically bad, so how do you know when sharing is useful?
Give me a quick test.
All right, you are thinking about starting a small side business. Who do you tell first?
If I need expertise, someone who has actually built one.
If you are anxious and need support?
One trusted person who knows me well.
And if you mostly want 10 people to say, "That is amazing,"
then maybe I am looking for applause, not advice.
Exactly. Before you share, ask what you want from the conversation. Support, expertise, or approval.
That is a useful filter.
Let us test it with 3 fast situations.
Go.
You are thinking about a career move, but nothing is signed.
I would tell the people directly affected and maybe one trusted person, not the whole group chat.
You started a fitness goal and want accountability.
Tell the person who will actually check whether you showed up.
You have a creative idea, but no first draft yet.
I might keep that one quiet for a little while and build something first.
Exactly. Same principle, different reason for sharing.
Can I push back now?
Please.
I think there is a danger in making privacy sound too wise. Some people hide every plan because they are afraid of being challenged.
I agree.
They say, "I am protecting my peace," but actually, they do not want anyone to ask a difficult question.
That happens.
Or they say, "I work in silence," but they are not working.
Also happens.
So how do we keep this idea honest?
By connecting silence to action. If keeping something private helps you act, learn, test, or decide more clearly, the silence is useful.
And if keeping it private helps you avoid action?
Then the silence may be protecting fear, not progress.
Good. Because I do not want listeners leaving this episode thinking, "Excellent. I never have to tell anyone what I am doing, and nobody can question me."
That is not the lesson.
Also, some goals genuinely improve when other people know.
Definitely.
If I tell my training partner, "I will meet you at 7 tomorrow morning," that is useful.
Because another person is directly involved.
If I am working on a team project, silence is not mysterious and powerful. It is just bad communication.
Correct.
If I am making a financial decision that affects my partner, keeping it private is not healthy privacy.
Exactly. Privacy should not become an excuse to hide information from people who are genuinely affected by your decisions.
That difference matters.
Very much. There is also a difference between privacy and secrecy.
Let us make that useful for English learners too.
Good idea. Private is often neutral. It means something is personal or not shared widely. Secret can sound more dramatic. It suggests that information is intentionally hidden.
So if I say, "I am keeping this project private for now," that can sound calm and reasonable.
Yes.
But "I am keeping this project secret" Sounds like I am building a robot in my basement.
Or planning something suspicious.
Exactly.
Another useful phrase is keep something to yourself. That means not share it with other people.
For example, I decided to keep the idea to myself until I had tested it.
Natural and clear.
But tone matters. If someone tells you something personal and says, "Please keep this to yourself," they mean, do not share this information.
Good distinction.
So privacy can be healthy. Secrecy can also be necessary sometimes, but the word has a stronger feeling.
Right. And in this episode, we are mainly talking about privacy and timing, not living a secret life.
I am glad we clarified that before someone buys sunglasses and starts whispering.
Please do not become mysterious because of this podcast.
Too late.
So privacy can be healthy, but it should stay connected to the purpose, giving an unfinished plan room to develop.
And that gives us another phrase. Second guess yourself.
Yes. To second guess yourself means to start doubting your own judgment.
Like, I was confident about applying for the program, but after talking to everyone, I started second guessing myself.
Exactly. One opinion can be useful. 10 opinions can make it difficult to remember what you actually think.
But one good question can also save you from a bad decision.
Absolutely. That is why never share your plans works better as a warning than as a literal rule.
So what is the practical version?
Do not automatically give every new idea an audience. Give it some private work first.
Test it.
Learn about it.
See whether you still want it after the first wave of excitement disappears.
Exactly.
Because excitement is loud.
And commitment is often quiet.
That sounded suspiciously like a quote.
I know. I almost regret it.
No, keep it. One quote is allowed.
Thank you for your approval.
You did not need it.
Nice callback.
I am learning.
Quiet can help with personal change too. New habits are usually messy at first, and privacy gives you room to adjust without explaining every imperfect day.
So sharing should support the change, not become another performance around it.
Exactly.
Then, before I tell someone about a new plan, what should I actually ask myself?
First, who genuinely needs to know right now?
Not who would enjoy knowing.
Right. Who needs to know? Who can genuinely help, or who is directly affected?
And if the answer is nobody yet?
That is completely okay.
Second question?
What do I want from the conversation? Advice? Support? Expertise? A reality check?
Or applause?
Or applause?
And if I mainly want applause, maybe I should do one piece of work first.
Exactly. Put the excitement into action, then decide whether you still want to share.
And if I do need to tell someone,
keep the circle small and useful. 1 or 2 people can be enough, especially people who ask good questions without taking over your idea.
And if I need professional advice, choose someone with relevant experience.
Exactly. Not every opinion deserves equal weight.
That one can go on a normal piece of paper.
Haha, accepted.
Before we move on, there are 6 phrases from today that can completely change how you talk about uncertain plans. Let us make this quick.
First, get ahead of yourself. It means acting or speaking as if something is further along than it really is.
I have only had one interview, so I do not want to get ahead of myself. Notice the rhythm. Get ahead of yourself.
Next, follow through. That means actually doing what you said you would do.
I have lots of ideas, but I need to get better at following through. Stress, the second word, follow and through.
Third, second guess yourself. That means starting to doubt your own judgment.
I felt confident until everyone gave me advice. Then I started second guessing myself.
Quick check. Your friend has had one promising meeting and is already planning the celebration. What could you say?
Do not get ahead of yourself.
Exactly. Now, keep a low profile means avoid attracting too much attention. It does not necessarily mean hiding. It can simply mean you are working without making yourself the center of attention.
For example, I am keeping a low profile while I work on the project. In a professional setting, that sounds calm and focused.
Weigh your options means carefully consider your choices before deciding.
I have not decided whether to move yet. I am still weighing my options. That is much more confident than saying, I have no idea what I am doing.
And up in the air means undecided or not settled yet.
The date is still up in the air. Short, casual, and very common in everyday English.
One bonus phrase, speak too soon. If the result is not clear, you can say, I do not want to speak too soon, but the meeting went well.
So which phrase would you use if 10 opinions suddenly made you doubt your decision?
I started second-guessing myself.
Good. And if you are excited, but the plan is still early?
I do not want to get ahead of myself.
Exactly. These phrases help you sound careful without sounding confused.
Now let us make a few simple sentences more natural. The simple sentence is not wrong. We are just making it more natural, more precise, or softer.
I will give you the simple one.
Go ahead.
I do not want to tell everyone.
More natural. I would rather keep it private until I know where it is going.
Nice. Would rather makes it sound calm, not defensive.
Exactly.
Next, my plan is not ready.
It is still taking shape, so I do not want to speak too soon.
Taking shape means becoming clearer or more developed.
Right. The idea exists, but it is still developing.
Next, people make me doubt myself.
I start second-guessing myself when too many people weigh in.
Good phrase there. Weigh in.
Yes, to weigh in means to give your opinion, especially in a discussion.
So, everyone weighed in on my decision.
Exactly.
Next, do not ask me about it.
Too sharp.
Very sharp.
Softer. I am still figuring things out. I will share more when I have something concrete.
That is excellent.
Something concrete means something clear, definite, or real enough to discuss.
And notice what all these sentences have in common.
They create privacy without creating drama.
Exactly. You do not have to lie. You do not have to become rude. You do not have to invent reasons.
You can simply say, it is early. I am still thinking. Nothing is decided. Or, I will share more later.
That is a powerful communication skill.
I think this is the extra English learning value of the topic. We are not only learning vocabulary, we are learning how to set a boundary politely.
Yes, and that is useful far beyond plans. Tone and register matter too. I am keeping it to myself for now. Sounds natural and conversational.
At work, you might say, the details are still being worked out. I will share an update when something is confirmed.
Same boundary, different register.
Exactly. Good English is not only knowing a phrase, it is knowing which phrase fits the situation.
But there is still one question that decides whether all of this advice is actually useful.
What is it?
When do you finally tell people?
That is the important question.
If silence is only a stage, how do you know when that stage is over?
I do not think there is one perfect moment, but I look for evidence.
What kind of evidence?
Evidence that the idea has survived contact with reality.
And evidence does not mean success already.
Right. It can simply mean consistency. You have shown yourself that you can keep going after the excitement fades.
So you do not need a perfect result before you share.
No. You just want enough real experience that the plan is no longer being held together only by enthusiasm.
Explain.
Maybe you have studied consistently for a month. Maybe you have saved enough money to make the move realistic. Maybe you have spoken to the right professional. Maybe you have built the first version of the product. Maybe you have applied instead of only talking about applying.
So the plan has moved from imagination into behavior.
Yes. Once there is some behavior, sharing feels different.
Because now you are not asking people to react to a fantasy.
You are sharing something you are already doing.
That also makes you less vulnerable to random opinions.
Usually, if someone says, that will never work, but you already have 3 months of useful progress, their comment lands differently.
You have your own information.
Exactly. Not perfect certainty. Just enough personal evidence to stay grounded.
I like that phrase, stay grounded.
It means stay realistic, calm, and connected to what is actually happening.
So quiet work helps you stay grounded because you are learning from reality instead of from everybody's reaction.
Yes.
But I would still share earlier if I needed help.
Of course.
If I am confused about a legal issue, I am not going to protect my energy by refusing to speak to a lawyer.
Haha, please do not.
If I am struggling emotionally, I am not going to stay isolated because I think silence is strong.
Exactly. This idea should never be used to avoid necessary support.
That is important.
Very.
So maybe there are plans that need privacy and problems that need conversation.
That is an excellent distinction.
A goal can sometimes benefit from quiet. A serious problem often benefits from help.
Yes, and sometimes the same situation contains both. You can keep the public announcement private while still speaking honestly to one trusted person.
That is probably the healthiest middle ground.
I think so. Let us give listeners something practical before we finish.
Good. Something simple.
Think of one plan, decision, or personal change that is still unfinished.
Not your deepest secret, just something you are currently developing.
Now ask yourself 3 things.
First, who genuinely needs to know right now?
Second, what do I want from telling them? Advice, support, expertise, connection, or just a positive reaction?
Third, would talking about it help me take the next step, or would the next step be more useful than the conversation?
That third one is the key.
If the next step is more useful, do the next step first.
Send the application.
Read the first chapter.
Make the budget.
Practice the skill.
Research the course.
Build the first draft.
Then decide whether you still need to announce anything.
And if you do share, you can use one of today's phrases.
I am still figuring it out.
Things are still up in the air.
I do not want to get ahead of myself.
I will share more when things are further along.
I am still weighing my options.
I would rather keep it private for now.
Calm language. No drama.
And no mysterious sunglasses.
Please let that joke go.
I cannot. It is part of my personal growth now.
Fine.
Sarah, what is the biggest idea you are taking from this conversation?
That unfinished plans sometimes need privacy, not because other people are bad, but because early ideas need room to change.
Mine is simpler. Silence has to serve action.
Exactly. If you are learning, testing, deciding, or building, quiet can help. If you need real support or expertise, ask for it.
And when someone is directly affected, communicate honestly.
But if you only feel the urge to announce something because you are excited,
maybe build a little first.
Exactly.
Let the plan become something you have done, not only something you have described.
That is a good place to end.
Before we go, here is our question for you. Which is harder for you? Keeping a new plan private, or stopping yourself from explaining it when people start asking questions?
You can answer in 1 or 2 sentences. For example, I tend to get ahead of myself because I get excited and tell people too early.
And if you can, use one phrase from today. That turns the comment into real English practice.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us.
And if you enjoyed this conversation and learned something useful today, please give this video a like, subscribe to English Life channel, and share it with someone who is learning English too.
It really helps us continue making simple, useful English conversations for you.
Keep learning, keep building, and maybe keep one unfinished plan a little quieter this week.
One last question, Alex. Are you finally going to tell everyone what that new project is?
Not yet.
Good answer. Maybe some things are better shared after they have had a little time to grow.
Exactly. Sometimes the best thing you can do is work quietly, make real progress, and let the results speak when the time is right.
And until then, keep practicing your English, keep moving forward, and trust the process.
We hope you enjoyed today's conversation, and we will see you again in the next episode.
Take care, everyone.